Today, I'm enlisting the help of my dog Glia to review 3 of the leading winter dog jackets on the market to help me determine which one is the best winter dog jacket. We've got the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier 2.0 jacket. We've got the Ruffwear Furness dog jacket. And we've got the Hurtta Expedition Parka. All 3 of these are fantastic winter dog coats. So let's talk through some of the differences, some of the best features of each of them, and then we're going to do a little bit of testing and determine which one is truly the warmest winter dog jacket. All 3 of these brands are leading brands. So none of these are really budget jackets. These are all high-end winter dog gear jackets. The cheapest among them is the Hurtta, which I think is still under $100, depends on the size of your dog. And then both the Non-Stop Dogwear and Ruffwear jackets are over that $100 price point. But they are really nice jackets. And so that's why I was super curious to see which jacket was going to perform the best. So first, I'm just going to talk about a few features of each one. And then, like I said, we'll talk about how they did when I did the testing to see how much warmth they each had. So I have had the Hurtta Expedition Parka the longest. It was the first high-end winter dog jacket that I had gotten for Glia, and I fell in love with it so fast. It has been an amazing jacket. It's held up really, really well for us over the years. You can see that it's starting to get a little bit of like staining right here where the leash portal comes through, but is otherwise in really good condition. So the Hurtta Expedition Parka has adjustment around the end of the neck piece. It has kind of a nice soft fabric inside. It adjusts around the collar area, has a leash portal, and then the length of it does adjust also. So underneath here, you can pull this to shorten it. And then there are leg straps, which I should untie for this video, but they're too big for Glia. So I have them tied up and out of the way. You can see that, Glia has narrow thighs and this is way too big for her. And then it goes on just over the head, nice and simply, and clips around her body. Really easy adjustment there. So it's easy to get on, easy to get off, and it's nice and warm. I think it's a good comfort level, fairly adjustable, nice jacket. It does have some reflection points here and along the sides. So a little bit of winter help there. And that's kind of the basics of the Hurtta. Now, I think the Hurtta Expedition Parka is a little bit too baggy for Glia to get the right length. So I did almost kind of, feels like I had to size up to get the right length. Glia is kind of a narrow, long dog. And speaking of, the measurement for that jacket from the collar line to the back is 20 centimeters. The next winter jacket that I got was the Ruffwear Furness. The Furness jacket is different in the way that it goes on. So your dog, this goes over the dog's neck. They have to step into each of these arm sleeves, and then it has to zip up. It does not have an adjustable length like the Hurtta does, but it is adjustable around the chest piece. So like this part here can get tighter, which is great because Glia wears a size small in the harnesses, and I had to size up to a size medium to get enough coverage for her to get it long enough. The small was just a little too short. And so it's a little baggy, and it's nice to be able to collect it there. The other note is this one also has the harness opening, and it lined up perfectly, like small jacket to small harness was perfect. It's a little offset now that I have a medium jacket with a small harness. It has a little spot to put a light attachment there. Ruffwear has something they call the beacon, and then it does also pull tight around the neck, and also has the reflective piping, just like the Hurtta Expedition Parka does. So that's the Furness there. And then the newest jacket, the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier Jacket 2.0. The Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier Jacket is really similar to the Hurtta jacket in that it is made to just slide over your dog's head, like so. Good. And then you just put it here, and then take it and snap it around their waist. So for Glia, I can do that a little bit tighter there. I'm going to just shift her a bit. And there's a look at that jacket from the side. It has the adjustment here at the end of kind of the snood. Both the Hurtta Expedition Parka and the Non-Stop Dogwear Jacket, they are kind of thicker neck pieces than the Ruffwear one has. So I think maybe if I'd had a sensor around the neck area, the Expedition Parka and Non-Stop Dogwear Jacket might have been a little bit warmer around the neck. But adjust there. It also adjusts here around the collar area, and this is the only one that has a hole for a collar attachment. So that is a wonderful feature there. Then it has the opening for the harness. This has a longer opening for the harness. I don't know if you can see that well, but it would fit a wider variety of harness spots, essentially, like where the buckle is located on the back of the harness. It does have some adjustment at the back, not to change the length, but to snug up the sides here, scooch those up a little bit. And then just like the Expedition Parka, it just snaps around the dog's waist. Also has some reflective trim. And this one even includes a couple of little grommets on the chest piece to allow snow melt to get out. So some dogs, when they're running in deep snow, the snow will get underneath the jacket. And so then this has a way to kind of get out of there. And then this one has nice thick leg panels. I skipped the Furness's leg panels. You can see that they're a little bit narrower, but they do clip up out of the way, which I really like on the Furness. The Non-Stop does not clip out of the way, but it is a nice, well-fitting thigh strap. So if your dog is willing to wear those, this one works great. And then lengthwise, I have a 55 centimeter jacket, which from the collar area to the back is about 22 inches. And so it should theoretically be longer than the Expedition Parka, but I find that unless I have the thigh straps on, it kind of lifts up and off of her a bit. So she maybe needs to size up one if she's not going to be using the leg straps, if I wanted to get full complete coverage. And then the Ruffwear jacket is almost 23 in length on the medium. So that's about what Glia needs. When I measure her, she's right at about that 20 to 22 centimeter range for what I decide. And so when you're getting a winter dog jacket, I'd recommend going longer for good coverage, especially if your dog doesn't like wearing the back thigh straps. In order to test how warm each of these jackets were, I bought a couple of temperature sensors. So this is a little SensorBot sensor, and it records the temperature and then puts it on an app so I can see how the temperature fluctuates. If you have watched my comparison of the Hurtta jacket to the Ruffwear Furness, then you know that before I was using a meat thermometer and trying to stick it underneath and see how things are going. And that was really hard when it was bitter cold out. Now this winter has not been as bitter so far, so you'll see that my temperatures are a little bit different on the outdoor air. But this was nice because I would hang one on my fanny pack that I use to carry the dog treats and dog disposal rolls and all of that. So I'd hang this on the outside, and this would tell me how warm it was in the outdoor air. So it was kind of my control. And then I used Glia's Ruffwear Flagwine harness, which is my favorite dog harness if you're curious. And I put one sensor on the back by her handle and the other sensor on her chest. So you can see that when she was wearing this, she had one on her back, one on her chest. And then it was the same harness that I used for all the testing. So it should have been in the same spot on each coat. Now, of course, these coats are a little bit different in how they're formed. So, for example, the sensor was a little bit closer to the opening of the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier 2.0 jacket than it was to some of the others. And then the Hurtta and the Non-Stop Dogwear coats, they both have narrower chest panels, so there's not as much fabric on either side. But this is what I use to do some of the temperatures. Once I had Glia all suited up with the temperature sensors on her harness, I took each of the dog jackets for an individual walk. I did this testing in January, so January 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I got 2 walks in with the Ruffwear Furness, one with the Hurtta Expedition Parka. It was a longer one, so hopefully that evens out the temperature a little bit. And then 2 shorter walks with the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier Jacket. For each walk, I recorded the ambient air temperature with the sensor that was hanging from my fanny pack, and then I had the back sensor and the chest sensor. And to keep everything similar, it was always the same sensor that read on the chest or the back or ambient air. Here's the chart of the data that I gathered. One of the nice things about these sensors is that they record a graph for me. And so I have pictures of each of the graphs, but the number that I've recorded in a table is the lowest reading that I got while she was wearing each jacket. So for the Ruffwear Furness, when it was about 30 degrees out, I got a back sensor reading, lowest point of 58.2 and a chest sensor of 55.7. When I repeated it the next day on a longer walk, the ambient temperature was 28.8 and I got 57.3 on the back and 52.8 degrees Fahrenheit on the chest. The Hurtta Expedition Parka I took for a walk on the 9th when the ambient temperature was about 30.2 and the back sensor got down to 53.6, chest to 41.7. And then on the 10th, I took the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier Jacket 2.0 for 2 walks. Earlier in the day, I had an ambient temp of 29.9. Later, it was 32.5. And the back sensor reading was 54.5 and 55.5 respectively. And the chest was 41 and 44.6 respectively. So you can see that the back sensor temperatures were fairly similar, right? The range there was 53.6 to 58.2, so only less than 5 degrees of difference between all the jackets on the different walks. But the chest sensor on the Ruffwear Furness definitely read warmer. That one read about 10 degrees warmer than what I got with the Expedition Parka or the Non-Stop Dogwear Glacier Jacket 2.0. Both the Hurtta and the Non-Stop Dogwear jackets were pretty similar, and that doesn't surprise me too much considering that they have a similar chest panel feature to them. And as a little aside, if you're curious, I did check and see how warm my coat was, and when the sensor was between my sweatshirt and my jacket, I got a reading of about 56.4 when the back sensor on the Ruffwear Furness was reading 53.6 for Glia. So fairly similar there. But if I move my sensor to underneath my sweatshirt, so closer to my skin, I had definitely had a warmer setup. So it might just be that I need to layer Glia up a little bit more. So the winner on our warmest winter jacket is the Ruffwear Furness. It did a wonderful job, kept everything very warm. And again, I was measuring temperature here and here. So it makes sense that having those sleeves would make the chest panel warmer. It maybe doesn't have quite as warm of a neck area. The other 2 jackets do go up further around Glia's neck, and I didn't have a sensor on the collar itself. So maybe something to do. So it might be a little bit less protection on the neck, but for full body, this is the warmest winter dog jacket, the Ruffwear Furness. But I'd say the prettiest one is the Non-Stop Dogwear. This one is gorgeous colors. I wish Ruffwear would make similar colors. Although I do love my pink Expedition Parka, it'll always be the first jacket I got for Glia, and it's still my favorite for when it's not like deep cold out and I need something that goes on and off easy, and it feels snuggly to me and soft, and it really drapes around her well. So all 3 jackets are great. The best winter dog jacket is going to depend on your dog's hair coat, how much protection and warmth they need, what type of activities you're doing, and if the color matters that much to you. But my conclusion is that the warmest is the Ruffwear Furness. So if you're going for warmth alone, that's the dog jacket that you should buy for your dog this winter. Thanks for watching.